Stepping into the Kia K4 or K5 isn't just getting behind the wheel of any average sedan. It's stepping into what's next. With a K4, it's stepping into a world that's exciting. With a K5, it's one that's bold. The Kia K4 and K5, the next movement for sedans. See your local Kia dealer or visit kia.com to learn more.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely.
The Dallas Cowboys, winners of 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, have had to overcome much adversity this NFL season. Emmitt Smith broke out with a sensational performance, leading Dallas into a first-place tie in the NFC East. This week, one more major setback, and the Cowboys must now put another obstacle behind them as the playoffs approach. Today, they travel west to Arizona against Boomer Esiason and the Cardinals, who look to keep their slim playoff hopes alive.
Hello, it's the One Star Cowboys podcast again. I'm Kevin Turner. We have John Machota, Saad Youssef, and Kent Garrison. You know, there's a lot of podcasts. They do that thing where they just jack around for 20 minutes before getting into the content, and I don't ever like doing that. Get into what the big story is of the day. But man, with this team and that performance on Sunday, I've decided, John, how was Paul McCartney last week?
Honestly, when you said that, it made me think of Jerry saying that in that one radio interview a few years back. Got time to be jacking around with you all today. It was good. It was good. It was like 3.5 hour drive though up to Tulsa. So you got to be kind of committed to do that, like after practice, you know, but it was worth it. You get to that point in life where you're like, I don't know, how many more times am I going to see this guy? He's 83. Speaking of Jerry, same age. So yeah, played for 3 hours. So Kent and I saw him in Fort Worth a few years ago. And Kent, I will tell you, it was very similar. Set list, everything. So yeah, it was good.
Same tour, same show.
Yep. Same everything.
Hey, I would see that again.
The same rising stage and the front for Blackbird. Same deal, all of it. Yeah.
Why not?
Oh yeah, no, it was good.
Of course, a Beatle for gosh sake.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I imagine,
and there's a part of me, real quick, I just want to add, there's a part of me that looks at what's in music now or still alive in music, and I'm just like, I just don't see much as I get older, and I'll be like, I gotta make sure I go see, I don't know, who Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Taylor Swift. Am I gonna be saying that when they're 83?
Probably not.
I doubt it.
They're all different. Those are more of those pop acts. I mean, Taylor could probably make it happen. She's got enough. I don't know. Those pop acts. It doesn't.
You don't think
pop
Paul
stars don't age well?
I feel like Taylor's got enough piano songs. She could make it work.
Yeah.
But I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know about the others.
The crowd was interesting too because it was probably a average age of 55, 60. It was just funny because a few songs in, it was like you could see everybody right. Okay, we're sitting down now. And it's like, what? We're not going to stand for all. Okay, I guess I got to sit down too.
You start playing the pianos on Maybe I'm Amazed, and I'm going to have to sit down for a minute. Did you drive back after?
I stayed the night, and then I woke up and drove back. I woke up around 7, and then I got back to the Star in time for, I think the coordinators were around a little after 11 o'clock or whatever, so I didn't miss that. But
all right, well, glad you had a good time, man.
Yeah, it was good.
I was just, when I saw you posted, I was kind of like, "Oh, a during the season quick concert trip." I just kind of very, very rare for you. So
well, they just didn't have. He didn't stop in Dallas or Fort Worth, so It was this or San Antonio, and San Antonio was on Saturday, and Saturday night I was in Denver, so I couldn't make that one. And strangely, not being from Texas, I wouldn't have thought that was my first time driving to Tulsa. I would not have thought that Tulsa would have been closer than San Antonio, but here we are.
I've decided, and you guys can tell me if you disagree or whatever, but I've decided, and I'm not to keep making things about Micah, but I've decided I've found the silver lining that I'm looking for in the Micah Parsons trade. And it's not the draft picks and the however many players Jerry will tell you they're going to get because of it. It's not the salary cap space. It's that we don't have to pretend anymore that this was ever a good defense. Now, Like, we just fully know the Band-Aid has been ripped off. He can't cover up anything. Everyone likes to reference the Bill Barnwell stat, with his snaps on the field. Now, fully, we all know.
Who's everyone referencing that, by the way? But go ahead. Sorry, go on.
I don't know. I've just heard a lot of people mention the stat where the stat where the snaps where Micah was on the field, the Cowboys were first in the EPA stat on defense.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, with the stat where he's off the field, they were 32nd, blah, blah, blah. And that was like an over 1,000 snap sample size. So,
man, he would have to what he would have to be doing right now in terms of getting to the quarterback to cover up these gaping holes in the secondary. Okay, sure. We must be watching different games, but all right.
Well, no, I'm just, but what do you,
I think for this defense to be where it would need to be for this to be a team that could make a deep playoff run, I think you have to have Micah Parsons on one side and Max Crosby on the other. That's how bad I think they are in the back 7.
Okay. I tend to believe they could be league average defensively, and that's enough for this offense to go win you some games.
To win some games, sure, but I'm talking we don't have to dig back to like the 80s and 90s. Like, it was just 2 years ago. Like, they were making the playoffs, and they were a team that you're like, hey, if things are hitting right, they could make a run at the Super Bowl. So what you're talking about is making the playoffs. Yes, possibly with a completely healthy Micah Parsons all season, and then Overshown hitting the ground running when he returns against the Raiders. Yes, they could potentially make the playoffs. But I'm talking about, like, if you thought that this is a team with the offense that they have, that they could pick up where they left off in 21, 22, 23, winning double-digit games, making the playoffs, and having a chance to make a playoff run, I'm gonna need Micah and Max Crosby to cover up what's going on in that secondary. And not just secondary, because you got to include the linebackers too. I mean, it's so bad.
Yeah, I think the secondary and just the whole defense is that way. But KT, to your point about not having to I guess pretend about any of it, we talked about this on Sunday after the game as well. But the number one person that has to take it upon himself to stop pretending what this defense is or isn't is Brian Schottenheimer. Like, he's the one that has to recognize where this defense is. Fourth and 5 from within the 40-yard line. You have to go for that in the first quarter, fourth quarter. It doesn't matter. 4th and 1 from the 29-yard line. I understand where you are on the field, but that actually, like, when I was thinking about that more after the game, I was reflecting. I went back to 2009 when the Patriots were playing the Colts, and you guys probably remember the 4th and 2 game. And in that game, the Patriots had a decent defense that year, but the Colts had scored touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 2-minute drives, and then I think there was 1 interception. But, like, Peyton Manning was moving the ball, and so the Patriots were 4th and 2 on their own 29-yard line. And as we all know, they went for it, 4th and 2, didn't get it. Peyton Manning scored. Patriots lost by a point. But that was a situation where, Belichick basically knew what he had on defense and knew that if you're going to win this game, you've got to pick up these 2 points. Doesn't matter where you are on the field. This was late fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. Peyton Manning on the other side. He's like, we're not going to punt the ball, because whether he has to go 29 yards or 89 yards, the guy's going to score a touchdown. So we have to get these 2 yards. And I understand that's Belichick, all the leash that he has in 2009. I get it. He was already a 3-time Super Bowl champion. But let's not act like Schottenheimer is in a contract year, 4th year of his contract or anything. It's not like he's going to get fired. And also, Jerry knows what kind of groceries he's left him with on defense, and everybody recognizes that. So for me, it's on Schottenheimer to, at this point, I understand where he's been. You're feeling things out. Decent game against the Commanders. That's fine. From this point forward, you have to know that your defense is not capable, and you have to be going for it on the, you again, real quick also on that. I'm not saying you have to re-identify yourself as a coach and become Dan Campbell. Not saying that. That's part of Dan Campbell's identity. But for the team that you have this year, you have to take more chances and you have to be more aggressive on offense.
I mean, you can be Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell would not be doing that with the 2008 Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell can do that because that offense is loaded. So that makes sense to be doing that stuff like that.
His defense can get a stop too. his defense.
Yeah, but
can
last
catch
year
up
they
if
couldn't. Not
need
after
it.
they had all those injuries last year, and he was still doing that stuff. It's because the offense is loaded. So, and the Cowboys' offense is loaded, so they should be too. And at the very least, for that 4th and 5, you at least line up and go for it. And then, yeah, of course, you're going to get your false start, and then it's 4th and 10, and then you punt. That's what this Cowboys team does. So, no, I couldn't get past the pre-snap penalties early in that game. I could not. I mean, stunning that you have to. And I hate saying that you have to play perfect, because you don't have to be perfect. Just be sound, just be sound. You knew it was going to be loud there, so that's the whole thing. Like, just be sound. You're on the 1-yard line. And then the other part I really hated is Patrick Surtain gets hurt. And on the very next play, you got no safety help. George Pickens is by himself, and he's getting checked by Chris Abrams-Drain. How many defensive snaps do you think that guy played all season before that play? I looked it up. One defensive snap he had played all season. You just throw it to George Pickens. Either he catches it, there's pass interference, or he doesn't catch it, and it's a great play by some guy that should never, at 5'11", make that against 6'3", George Pickens. But to feed it in between two guys to CD, I get it. CD's great, but like, he's not singled up by himself. I mean, it was just glaring inside the stadium. You were just like, oh, well, you don't even care what play he runs. He's just going to throw it. All right, not even looking at Pickett. Okay, going for the field goal now here. Like, I mean, they're just, it's been so easy to just talk about how bad the defense is. And don't get me wrong, the defense is terrible, and they're not winning many games because of this defense. But like, there were just a lot of things that the offense did early on in that game where I was just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, and that's part of the thing where, again, we've sung Dak's praise all season long, and rightfully so. But that situation right there is something that I've seen Tom Brady for 20 years. The second you give one of those guys, Brady, Manning, Breeze, all those guys in their prime, a corner that hasn't played all season, they are going to retire that corner on that day. Literally, I don't know if you remember this, John, but in 2010 on Thanksgiving, Patriots against the Lions, he went after Alphonso Smith and basically ended that guy's career in one game. And I'm not even joking. You can go back and look at that game. I think he threw 3 touchdowns on Alphonso Smith that day. So I think that's the thing Dak has to recognize. And again, to my point earlier too, on 4th and goal, you can't do that chip shot field goal. Like, you have to go for it at that point. You have to know it's 4-down territory.
Yeah, and Brian did say he would have if they didn't get the false start and move it back to the 6. But I agree with you. Yeah, I still would have went for that. I don't care about getting any points right there. 3 isn't going to do anything in this game. Your defense can't stop anyone. I mean, even with Bo Nix throwing it right to you, how many times is that going to happen? It just takes a few series and going against this Cowboys defense. Like, of course, everything I'm about to say is being said in these meeting rooms before these teams play the Cowboys. But I'm going to give these teams, these players, a little bit of, holy shit, they are awful, to where you realize when you're out on the field, like, no, we don't have to do anything special. We'll just run basic plays and we will just move up and down this field. The stats about what we are in third, we won't get to 3rd down. Don't worry about that. We will just move on 1st and 2nd. Just everyone, just relax here. I mean, simple plays and we will get 30, 40 yards. I mean, it's becoming one of my favorite things. Being in these press boxes after the game and hearing other reporters talk about guys on their team that, man, I look at this guy, how great he played. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not really that guy. It's this defense is terrible. I'm seeing this every week. And I know they can't, because they're actually, their team that they cover actually has a defense and, has both sides of the ball. So they're probably not used to it. Most teams they go against are competent on both sides of the ball. So it's different for them. I get all of that. But like, just hearing it in the press box just makes me laugh. Like, I'm like, you do understand that, like, if the Giants could just play the Cowboys every week, Russell Wilson not only still has a job, he's in the MVP talks. I mean, that's what I'm going to print out. I was telling my brother this. I'm going to print out that box score from that Giants game. I'm just going to hand that out in the press boxes, a little like business card when anybody like talks about, man, I can't remember how, I'm going to paraphrase, but it went along the lines of something like, that's the first time RJ Harvey's had a run like that since blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, he's really got something going. He's playing the Cowboys defense. That's what he has going.
Yeah. No.
You can do this every week.
Yeah. No, of course we do. The things that keep us, keeping some people, I think, off the center, just the ebb and flow week to week thing of this. Like playing decent against Washington. And I understand a half of Jaden Daniels and all that, and playing just better at home, and against bad teams for the most part, which that's also another thing that, we see a lot and have seen over the, like, when are you just going to start beating all the really good teams? But like, the first, I have to say, the penalty at the 1 yard line is so frustrating because, we had a commercial break there. Surtain got hurt.
Yeah.
You had a whole time to get this right. Everyone knows. And it wasn't just, Hoffman got called for it, but Guyton jumped as well. It was multiple people jumping. The James Houston one's a backbreaker. If you get that stop right there, it's just that whole world of like where the Cowboys are, where if they get ahead, maybe a team changes the way they play. Now, it's easy to say like Denver was going to do that to him no matter what. But if the Cowboys are up 10-0 or 14-0, do they stop running for 7 yards of carry? The game flow can change.
Yeah.
And they have to get there, and they know they have to get there. They know that. So I didn't necessarily have as big of a problem with Shoddy not going for it on 4th and goal there.
Yeah.
As much as like what you were saying, going after the bridges of Denver, at that point, because that's definitely who Denver was targeting the entire game. But
he is their ready steward.
The 4th and 5 one's the glaring one, though, because it is 30-17. I have talked myself into this being a competitive game. And, because I like to hope. I like to have a little hope. Get that first down, you'll score 30-24.
I agree with everything you're saying. If it was next week against the Cardinals, maybe the week after in Vegas, but against good teams on the road, nah, it ain't happening. Also, by the way, let me just make sure everybody understands this one. So like, did it sound loud to you on TV?
Not to me.
So it's really loud in there because like I'm walking around the upper bowl. Nobody's up there. The gates haven't even opened yet. Okay. This is a good 3 hours for the game. The way they constructed it is they like put sheet metal over the top of the concrete so that you can jump on. Like 15 people in the entire upper bowl would make a lot of noise there. Like it's done on purpose. So you could just sit in your seat and just, stomp your feet on the ground and it's going to sound loud. I guess it sounds very loud in the press box because it's obviously right above you in that, but it just like, it's almost like, I don't know, like how much you guys have been to like high school football games where on like the metal bleachers and people start stomping their feet. Well, yeah, that's going to be loud. It's metal, do that at AT&T Stadium on the cement. You're not going to hear anything. So they definitely did that on purpose to construct it like that so that, it would be louder like that. But it was mentioned in the post game several times by players about just like how loud it is there and everything like that. I'm just like, I don't know. I have never played an NFL game, so what do I know? But I'm just, I that early in the game, two false starts from Tyler Guyton, just lining up offsides.
That one drives me nuts more than any of them.
These are things that you don't have to be good. You don't have to be a quality football player. You just have to be able to do these simple things. But the offsides, lining up offsides with James Houston. But to start the game off like that, you're not good enough to overcome those type of mistakes,
Yeah.
Against good teams, I should say.
Sure. No, that stadium's very weird to me. Just, I've not been inside it, but just even being around the area over there too. It's kind of in a weird spot.
Yeah. What about the injuries that have, obviously the Cowboys have lost guys in the secondary and people are going to bring that up, but like the secondary wasn't good with those guys. I like to, again, like the people in the press box talking about like their individual team. I try so hard to always look at the big picture. I don't want to just focus on the one thing. The Cowboys have had a ton of breaks. Losing Jalen Carter before the game even starts. Losing Patrick Surtain, like on the first series. Like I understand he came back in the game, but he was not the Patrick Surtain that was 2024 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Wyatt goes out for the Packers. You play Washington with basically the equivalent of your secondary as their wide receivers. Jane Daniels basically doesn't play in the second half. Like, I'm just saying, I don't got a lot of time for the injury talk. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing about, when you look back, people try to make excuses, not necessarily excuses because they're trying to, it's more you're trying to make sense of of what just happened. But this kind of goes back to the same thing as last year when, when everyone's like, well, the injuries, it's like, well, I mean, I remember the Saints game before the injuries, and I remember the Ravens game, and that Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence didn't get hurt until week 4, 2020. I remember Dak when Dak was healthy, how bad it was. So yeah, it was. I mean, Luther Burden was burning Trayvon Diggs one-on-one. That was your starting corner,
Right.
and Luther Burden hasn't had a 100-yard game this season other than that Cowboys game.
What do you have? He had that, I think, 60, 65 on that play alone. So I wonder how many
Yeah.
games he's even had that in.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not that. And we know Trayvon wasn't going to help bring down J.K. Dobbins or R.J. Harvey or anything like that either. So yeah, I don't attribute the blowout just to being injured. I don't think that's it at all.
I haven't been able to really stomach to go back and watch many of these games over. Now I do have the game on YouTube TV while I'm in the press box, but I mean, it can be annoying sometimes because you are a good 20, 25 seconds behind, on the play, but I still try and keep up with the TV copy as much as possible. But for you guys, has there been a run against the Cowboys defense where and I'm sure there's been one or two, but for the most part where like another team just were like, man, what a sick run. Because from my perspective, it's like basic run, minimum 7 yard, 35. But like, even if you don't get the 35, you're walking out with 7 right off the rip.
KT and I
which is very, Michigan versus Eastern Michigan, not two NFL teams,
Yeah, no, KT and I talked about this on Sunday where we're like, yeah, you can pin a lot of it on Eberflus or whatever, but on the players and everything, but some of it is like basic football 101, like poor angles. I mean,
getting the edge.
Yeah, getting the edge, like it's just such basic stuff that it shouldn't matter if you're running a 3-4-4-3. Like that stuff shouldn't matter with some of the runs that they've been getting burned on.
And then the huge holes, the linebackers not getting off blocks, the linebackers getting blocked because maybe the DTs aren't getting the job done. And then also just one quarterback hit. I mean, that was a very clean pocket all day long. And it didn't really seem like they were trying to throw a lot at him either. They weren't trying to make things messy. It just, I don't know. It's Carolina and Chicago all over again. And I don't know how it continues to happen besides
if you're what they are. The season over today, right now, starts at square one. Each of you guys give me 3 names of Cowboys defensive players that you're like, well, they absolutely have to be on the field. Like, who are their 3 top defensive players right now? Overshown doesn't count. We haven't seen him yet. But from what you've seen to these first 8 games, the 3 guys that are just absolutely have to be out there because they're just playing well.
Ezraku would be one.
And I don't even feel confident saying must.
There are no musts.
I think there's 0. Yeah.
No, not must. But if I'm picking of what the bunch, Ezraku,
I agree.
Probably
that's
the only
one for
one.
sure.
Yeah.
I would reluctantly say, if you're making me choose 3, I would reluctantly say Kenny Clark or Osa. Kenny Clark's been bad the last 2 games.
And probably Bland, I guess. Just because he's a veteran. Because there are no linebackers.
No, I see what you're saying. Guys, it's rough.
There's not a lot there for you to be like, all right, well, this is the core. Like, you can literally use all 4 of these first round picks they have the next 2 years on defense, and not even think twice.
Yeah. This is that thing too, where it's maybe after the Washington game, it's offense is so good, but if we could just get that defense up there, but here we are again, going to be stuck in the middle. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know that you're in the middle. You're kind of in the back, and that's a problematic thing, especially when we're recording this on Tuesday evening, by the way, a week away from the trade deadline, and that'll be after another game. I know this is going to get you fired up, but hey, it keeps getting asked, and it is legit 7 days away.
Oh no, I was just going to say real quick. So I just went to PFF. Their top, I'll give you their top 5 defensive player grades. on the season.
Oh, okay.
Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezeraku, J.W. Clowney, Deron Bland, James Houston,
Okay.
Solomon Thomas, Reddy Stewart, Malik Hooker, Kyer Elam, and then Kenny Clark.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you want to buy into that, but just a tool to throw.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah, and also not
Like
not to make this like what KT started off the pod with, like not to make it all about Micah again. And I'm not saying Micah would fix the whole defense or anything, but the Micah factor is like the Luka factor for the Mavericks. Like Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, these players look better if the guy on the other side is doing what Micah does, and he's drawing three guys like we just saw him do against the Steelers. Klay Thompson is average as hell at this point in his career, but if he's getting a wide open shot because Luka's there, that's a whole different story. So I think there's a little bit of that element too.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to share this at some point, but it fits in perfectly with what we're talking about right now. So the one thing that I think Micah would certainly bring, I think they have one more win with Micah. Okay, I'll give them that. Maybe two, because you take them off Green Bay. Maybe instead of a tie, they win that game. So maybe they're 2 wins better, which obviously that puts you in the playoff hunt for sure. I'm not taking that away. But what he would be saying would be impactful too.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because so in the post-game locker room, before the doors open, Jerry walks out. So a bunch of us get Jerry and then immediately leave there to go get Brian Schottenheimer. And so all these stadiums are all different. Side, you obviously know this, where the whole like podium room is just all over the place. Like the Cowboys one is just so seamless, so obvious. There's glass around, you can't miss it. But a lot of these, it's just like, I don't know. Do you open that door? I don't know. I think that's an electrical room, or it could be where the press conference is going. I don't know. Just open it. And you want to be careful. You don't want to just barge in the door and then the podium's right there in front of you, because some of these stadiums, it's basically you're in a closet. So anyway, we get there and Brian's going right after Jerry. Brian's going. And then by the time Brian gets done talking, here comes Dak. So for several of us, we didn't even really get a chance to go into the locker room. Now, after losses like that, especially blowouts, they're not really have a ton of players available. A lot of guys really don't want to talk things like that. But so you rely a little bit on the press releases they put out after, because they have people in the locker rooms that will transcribe or at least provide audio from the locker room. And that what was provided after was Javonte Williams, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. And you sit there and you say to yourself, yeah, probably needed at least one defensive player. And then you immediately remind yourself, well, who would that even be?
Yeah.
Who would even be the voice? You know how many times that we've talked about, guess we got to go up to Kenny Clark again. Because Kenny's a really good dude. He's probably the front runner right now to win the Good Guy Award that, is voted on by the writers. And Dak could win it every year, but it becomes one of those things that you want to give to somebody different. I mean, Kenny's great, but he's also been on the team for a couple of months. It's not like he's killing it. And there's only so much he can say. And so there's not even really a person, whereas like Micah would be that. And it could also be bad too. Micah could be
sure.
blowtorch the whole thing. So, but I'm just saying, like, there really isn't even a person that you go to. You're just like, hey, Donovan, I understand you were at Boston College last year, but just how do you fix this thing? I mean, like, really, like, what is he going to say? Deron Bland's not going to really say much.
Yeah.
Trayvon wouldn't say much if he was here.
I've talked to you guys in this podcast more than I think Donovan Wilson has been in the locker room the last 3 years, and which is fine. He just doesn't really, the media just thing isn't for him. He just doesn't really care to talk. Dante Fowler's been like that too, so, which is fine on a football team because you got a ton of guys.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like after the game, you're just kind of like, who would be the person that, am I going to pin this all on James Houston for lining up off sides?
Kenneth Murray.
Yeah.
Just going veteran.
No, I mean, no, there's guys, but there's no like obvious where like, well,
Yeah.
we're going to have to get that guy. We have to
for sure.
talk about this,
For sure. Well, hey man, what happened to Trayvon? Have any answers on this? We're going concussion still, or
and a new knee.
And a new knee, I heard.
This isn't the knee from last year that he was rehabbing from coming back for. So,
yeah. I will say real quick, just reading John's story though, like the post game one, not like the recent one off the radio interview. Jerry's comments in that were pretty pointed and pretty eye opening.
I do think it's interesting the interview that Jory did with Micah Parsons after the Packers-Steelers game, just from the perspective of the rushing, Micah believing that the Cowboys did Diggs wrong and rushed him back. I just don't see how that's possible.
I don't either.
Why isn't Revel being forced out there? I don't know if you guys have been around him or not. Saad, I know you were in the locker room last week. You get any sense that maybe a DeMarvion Overshown would love if somebody would push him out there? Like they're protecting him from going out there. I just find it very hard to believe that a professional athlete, especially one like Trayvon Diggs, isn't going to be like one that's going to defy the team and work out on his own. Isn't going to be like, I'm not going out there. I'm not ready. Like he's going to be fear pressured into playing when his knee's not ready. I just find it very hard to believe. But hey, if you think I'm being a Cowboys homer, hey, and I'm taking up for their medical staff because we're tight, like us, I just want to defend the guys. Like that's not what I'm doing, but I'm just giving you basic logic. Like there's nobody that they're forcing out there that doesn't want to play. Like they're just hobbling out there on one of them leg scooters. Like, hey, they told me I gotta go. That's not happening.
Trayvon said himself he was good to go at the end of August. So I mean, it's just whatever Micah says about the Cowboys, you can probably take that with a grain of salt. The same way you can take us.
So I mean,
yeah, no, I Jory's awesome. Good work by Jory.
No, I wasn't even thinking from that perspective. I'm thinking of the Micah perspective.
Yeah,
just like for him to say that is just like okay,
it's incredible. It's incredible.
Did they force Mike out there last year when he was hurt? Did they force him back out there? Like we are in the most player empowerment era that sports have ever seen. Like the idea that these guys are just being sent out there against their will. Like these guys are going out there because they want to be out there. They also have to be medically cleared to go out there. But I just my time covering the Cowboys, I can't think of a player that was forced out there and they're just like, I don't think I'm ready, but they want me to play. I can't think of one.
Yeah. So we're just going to go straight up. Let's be realistic here. We're going to go, first of all, IR, 4 games? So 2 more weeks of him not playing. And then can you be retroactive to when you put him on IR, or do you have to go off the date? I'm sorry to throw off.
No, I'm pretty sure you have to go off the date. So
okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't get those previous 2. No, you don't get to count those. Yeah. You don't get to count those ones before. So yeah, he has to miss 4 games. So he's already missed 1. They put him on, I think it was Saturday. So that game counts. So he's got to miss 3 more games. But I mean, in this situation, I mean, there's certainly a chance that he doesn't play another game for the Dallas Cowboys.
No doubt. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like he's going to, in my opinion. So we're talking about a cut, like a post June 1 cut.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So financially, that puts that's only $5 million of dead money over the next couple years.
Yeah, I think that both sides are good with that.
And you would Cowboys would save 15 on the cap in 2026. You'd save 20 on the cap in 2027. Move this thing on down the road.
2026. I remember the discussion when he signed though. Like 2026 was always seen as like the getting off point from the contract if you needed to. No one was saying that they will, but I remember distinctly looking at the deal and being like, yeah, this is. And then the second they signed Deron Bland to an extension, like to me, 2026 was the off ramp for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's got to be the end, right? I just don't see how you come back from that. No, they're going to say what they have to say or whatever.
Yeah, and you go into next year and you'll have Revel, a full year removed from his knee injury. You have Deron Bland, and I think it's a decent bet that one of those 2 first-round picks, if they don't trade them all for Hendrickson and Max Crosby in the next couple. No, but I think that at least one will be spent on a corner.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because it's hypothetical in nature.
Also, by the way, one could have easily been spent this year. But like, if you go back, I was thinking about that with the Jahdae Barron interception to Dak. I'm just like, this was just not a good corner class.
No.
That was his first interception of the season. He hasn't really been even like playing like you would think like a first round corner and their defense is very talented. He obviously would be playing a lot for the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm saying their defense is very, very good. I'm not taking anything away from them. It's one of the best in the league, but I'm just saying, like, when he had that interception, I was just thinking about how I'm like, this just was not a good corner class at all, which is rare in today's football.
So knowing how Micah and Trayvon, how tight they are, if they got Micah done, let's just say, and Micah's there for camp, they got him done.
Yeah.
Do the feelings towards Trayvon still exist, or do they get out of their way and have good vibes? Because I do put a lot on Jerry and the front office for making camp bad vibes with the Micah thing and letting that overtake everything else. And Trayvon ended up being a passenger on that, and we saw that on day one of the opening press conference. And I just wonder if their attitude would have changed on that. If we got Micah done, we're building around Micah. Whatever, we're not going to find Trayvon. We're not going to run him over, because I do believe in building players up. I do believe in confidence. I do believe in all that stuff. And they also were personal towards him. And I'm not like Trayvon should get the blame for what Trayvon has done wrong in all this.
Yeah,
but the Cowboys have done absolutely.
There's a picture missing in here that's happened since then, though.
Well, yeah, but like I'm just saying, go back to the beginning.
That when that was going on, there wasn't any talk when they were talking together about how, like, we can't stand this DC. This scheme is terrible. So fast forward to where we are now. How do we know that isn't being said publicly? Sure. Especially after you pay Micah, he's going to have every leg to stand on to say whatever he wants, because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but
so maybe that would have been a good thing. Maybe defensive changes happened because there isn't really anybody that can do that for this team. But I'm just saying, like their like kind of partnership where it seemed like they were being defiant to the organization. If I'm reading correctly what you mean with that, how they talk together and everything like that. It certainly felt that way to me when we were out in camp. I could see it only getting worse even after a contract if things were going the way they are right now, where clearly the players want to play more man. Clearly the coaching staff, or at least the DC, wants to play more zone. And I could see that also being one of those things where they're defiant about that as well.
Yeah, but also the other thing, KT, that I would add to that is you're kind of missing the first chapter in all this, which was in April, draft week, is when Jerry went out of his way to talk about Trayvon's recovery from the previous knee injury. So this is early in the offseason, before the Micah stuff has even really, gotten super tense or anything like that. Even at that point, Jerry, unprompted in the draft press conference, is talking about how Trayvon didn't do the rehab correctly and all that kind of stuff. So I think the feelings towards Trayvon, maybe they've escalated over the last couple of months, no doubt. But they fined him before training camp even began. That was before all the Micah stuff really escalated as well. So I think the Trayvon stuff is kind of independent. It's just kind of been bad for a while now.
When did they sign him to the contract extension? I know that's a tough question. I don't
remember.
Well, no, I'm frantically Googling this and trying to find the answer.
Summer.
Okay, so summer. So the summer before he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
I've already mentally moved on. Sorry.
Yeah, I just remember because that was my first training camp out there. I remember. So it was 2023.
To me, it benefits nobody to publicly shit on him and be mad at him and keep the fine going. It benefits nobody besides them in the moment to say that. Like I said, it's because how come defending Trayvon? I just, how does that help anything? No, it just pour more gasoline on it, and you get what you deserve, I guess. So here we are.
I think it's just kind of also like having a player play out the final year of their contract in sports, where you kind of also think that you'll get the best of them because they're pissed off and things like that. And that writing was on the wall. This is probably your last season here. So, kind of these aren't apples to apples, not even close, but almost like a George Pickens thing where it's like, well, you're probably going to play pretty well because this is the last year of your contract and you want to, you're even if you don't like it here, you're showcasing yourself off to the other 31. So, I think there's a little bit of that as well, like thinking that you're going to get a really motivated Trayvon Diggs. But then also it's just Jerry being Jerry and being petty about him not working out at the facility. I mean, let's not overlook that,
I don't
get it. And KT also, like, to me, it's also Jerry is a little more overt in the way that he talks, and he's a little more direct. So I guess it stings, or it makes a little bit more of the headlines and stuff. But like I've said before on the pod, I mean, I haven't been doing this as long as John. I don't know if he has another example, but to me, I've never seen it more clearly without it being said so clearly about how much Mike Zimmer did not like Trayvon Diggs. I mean, you can tell from the answers, from the facial expressions and all that stuff. Now, it's not Jerry going on the radio and saying the words that are going to be printed in the headlines, but it's not, again, not to defend Jerry in this or anything. It's not just them. They're just the ones that are saying it the loudest and are kind of stoking the fire a little bit. But this has been an issue that's been going on for the last couple of years.
Also,
I don't
Mike Zimmer feels about anyone.
I don't think Matt Eberflus and Trayvon Diggs are getting dinner on the regular either.
Well, of course not now. But like I'm telling you, it could have ended up this way without them saying anything. And probably.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying him, and I'm not saying Diggs and Eberflus has anything to do with anything Jerry said. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, no.
The everyday just business. It doesn't seem like they are eye to eye on things.
Exactly, but you signed him and he's on your team, so like you should not get in the way of that. At least build it up, and they were not going to do that because they're stubborn. I mean,
yeah, or you move on from the player. But I guess they probably weren't in position to move on from him because he wasn't healthy. But
sure,
yeah,
and I get it, dude. I get it. Again, this probably would have ended up this way anyway. It's like Trayvon's demeanor and how he goes about things too makes me think it probably would have gone this way, no matter what. I just, it does suck. It does suck. Okay, Cardinals. As we record on Tuesday night here, obviously a long way to go. Kyler Murray is not even for sure in. Does sound like he is going to be in. I do have great fear of the Cowboys stopping someone like Trey McBride, who is an absolute monster. But I have great fear of the Cowboys stopping Troy Franklin too for Denver, and many others. I don't.
I have concern about them stopping
fill in the blank.
Georgia,
or
Alabama, or Notre Dame.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. Cowboys defense against college team, North Texas.
I mean, they would get stops. It wouldn't be as bad as it was Sunday, but let's not act like anybody went in that game going, I just don't know how they're going to contain this Denver offense. And this is with like Cortland Sutton dropping passes that he's probably catching 9 out of 10 times. And still, like, this is Bo Nix throwing a missile right to one of your corners to start the game off. And they still were. It was like, I forgot what it was exactly, but it was basically like interception. Then it was touchdown, field goal. I think end of half, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Like, I mean, like this was the Colts team that Saad was talking about earlier. This is Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos offense. They're just so comfortable at home. You just get them in the altitude and they just start cooking.
Yeah. Just let Bo Nix get his one wild throw out of the way on the first drive.
You do not want to let Nix cook.
Yeah, I think he led the league in checkdowns. And it's like, oh, well, not this week. We're not going to have to do that.
I mean, I think he's a fine player. I mean, I think he's probably a top 20 quarterback, but he's not a guy that you're just like, man.
Yeah, no,
this is going to be a long day.
I actually contend that he's not that good. And I contend that the Denver Broncos are not that good. But
that defense is legit. That defense is absolutely legit.
Yeah, but they're
going to get pressure on everyone. I mean, honestly, like I think that factored into some of Dak's issues in that game. He didn't have as much time as he's used to having, and he couldn't change as many plays because of the communication. They couldn't do the same stuff because of how loud it was there. And so they didn't want to change up too much stuff because they were already getting false starts. And so it was kind of, all right, we got to stick with this play here. Here we go. And I don't know, Jim.
Boy, he has that was a roller coaster broadcast for sure.
Oh my gosh.
I have the Cowboys at 12% chance of making the playoffs on the NFL playoff simulator that you and Saad got together and created over at The Athletic. A win would put the Cowboys at 17%. A loss would put them at 6%. So that's where we are, folks.
You can put that loss at a 1%.
Yeah,
I just don't see where the wins come from. And you just look at the teams that would have to lose for them to even get that 7 spot because they're not catching any Eagles. Let's stop with that. So to get one of those wild card spots, I mean, you're gonna have to catch like San Francisco or Seattle, and even with San Francisco, like I'm pretty sure the first tiebreaker when you don't play head to head is conference, and I want to say they're like 5-1 in the conference. Like they're not jumping that, and so you factor that in with that whole like how do you watch that game against Denver and think there's any chance that they're winning any of those 3 games against the Eagles, Chiefs, and Lions in a row?
I don't.
No,
There could be a bunch of injuries. Jalen Carter might spit on somebody right before the game starts again. And then next thing you know, it's like a tight game late, whatever. But like aside from, I'm saying with the teams that those 3 have right now, no injuries, just what those teams are on the paper right now. Those are 3 of the top 5 favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. They are all clearly ahead of the Broncos. So how are they winning any of those? So you just put those in as 3 losses right there. And then you got to at least split with the Vikings and Chargers. And you probably got to win both of the last 2 against Washington and New York.
yeah.
If all of that stuff happens, man, I mean, just give comeback player of the year to DeMarvion Overshown. I don't even know what he does, but for all of that to happen, he must be incredible.
I think Dak's getting comeback player of the year. Seriously.
Yeah. Also, these next 2 games.
What about Daniel Jones? He came back from having to play for the Giants. Doesn't that
I think
player of the year?
I seriously think the odds right now are Dak. Dak, McCaffrey, Daniel Jones, Aiden Hutchinson, Stephon Diggs.
But didn't they make a rule that, like, they did make a rule that, comeback player of the year, you have to come back from like an injury, not from like sucking,
Did they? Okay, well, Dak came back from injury then, right?
It says that on the trophy. There's 2 different clarifications. Hey, did you win the injury one or the sucking one? I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, we suck last year. I got the sucking one, but Aiden Hutchinson got the injury one because he snapped his leg in 2.
Daniel
Do you guys think the Scadaboo thing was just a cramp at first?
Come on, Tony.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not his fault because I will say when you're in the press box or up like where they're at, it is tough to know on those injuries until you actually see the TV replay. So you just don't want to speculate, but that will live on forever.
Dog, you're paid $20 million a year for what you do. You don't have to say everything or make every noise that comes to your head.
Well, no, I think in that situation,
world.
I really do believe that he's calling a Cowboys game. It's Dak Prescott that's down. I think he was trying to be optimistic in the moment. Like everybody, you can just tell, like, I mean, when stuff like that happens, you can just see there's just certain things that happen. Guys waving to the sideline. Like there's a different level of panic that happens. To be honest, the one I was thinking of that happened most recently is the McCaffrey one right before halftime, Washington. You could just tell the way everybody, I certainly didn't expect him to come back in, which he did, which is crazy. But the way the guys were reacting, you can see some guys are just panicking, trying to get somebody from the side. Other guys immediately go to a knee and start praying, So you're like, nah, something's different about that one. And so I think that in the moment, I think Tony was probably like, yeah, maybe you got to just hope it's a cramp. But then obviously there's a million pictures where you're like, yeah, that's not that. But
Not that at all.
the thing about the Scatterbo one is that is just such a routine play, man.
Yeah.
Like it would be so easy for me to just stop playing football after that first type of injury like that. I'm like, I am good. I don't need to do this anymore.
I talked to Travis Frederick the other day. And I was just like, just like how you been, all that stuff, catching up and just talking about, when he retired, which we've had this talk many times, but I was like, man, you got out with your legs and your back. And I was just like, how's Zach doing? Because he's tight with Zach Martin. And I was like, Zach didn't get out, but like the back hit him. He goes, yeah, I bet he's still dealing with that.
Yeah.
But Travis got out with his legs.
Tony's certainly still dealing with the back. And just being at the facility, just seeing like Nate Newton, he's had both knees replaced. Charles Haley's still out there a lot, but you can tell he's definitely taken a beating in his NFL career for sure, You
seen Dirk walk?
I really haven't since.
It's terrible, dude.
Is it?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough watching Dirk walk, especially given like it's basketball, like you don't think of it like that, but that's tough.
I mean, he wasn't moving well when he was taking Wade, LeBron, and Bosch to the rack in 11. I mean, he wasn't moving great, but I mean, obviously he was still a killer, but I haven't seen him I've seen him at games up, but I haven't seen him like walking. So it's that bad, huh?
I mean, it's just his ankle's jacked up,
Yeah.
Played too much, but he likes to play tennis and all that stuff. And I think pickleball is probably a little easier for him to do now and all that stuff. I mean, Dirk's 47, which is crazy, right?
Travis is doing well though.
Travis is doing great.
That's good.
He's doing great. I can tell you some off the record story. No, I don't. I really don't have that much. He
was always a good one in times like these, you know?
Yeah. No,
Because I mean, to be honest, when things are going this way, like I'm never really critical, like I said about the defensive players in the locker room. Like you get to a point where we're 8 games in, like what are they gonna say, you know? And like guys like Kenny Clark and Travis, they're just, Dak to me is the king of this. I mean, there's not anything you can throw them that they're not going to have some type of an answer to, while also giving an answer where they're not going to throw anybody under a bus, which is, it's tough to do, in big moments in that. So, yeah, Travis was always great with that.
You guys want to do some picks?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah. Where do things stand?
Well, John put together a 3-0 last week.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought I had a loss last week.
No, you did have a loss. I'm sorry. You had the loss.
I think I took the Cowboy. No, I definitely.
Nope. John had a 3-0 last week. Yeah. Denver, Philly, Green Bay. Got it done for you. John is in first place, 13-10-1. Kent in second place, 11-12-1. Sod, 9-14-1. And I've been getting a little crazy at 7-16-1. As of right now, Dallas, 3 points, getting 3 points. Is that crazy? Dallas +3?
No, they're -3.
-3. I'm sorry. Yeah. I wrote that down wrong.
It's like either 3 or 3.5. Yeah. No, they're the favorite.
Yeah, of course. At home, too. Dallas -3. This will be Monday night. I have it dipping to 2.5 on one of mine. I'm going to do that to keep it at 0.5 if you guys are okay with that.
Love it.
You guys okay with that? Dallas -2.5. John, you're in first place. We'll start with you.
I really thought last week, like, not only would Denver win, I thought it would be convincing. And it was, and I almost feel the same way about this game. Like, I think the Cowboys easily cover 3 or 4. Like, I think they win by 7-10. I think that this just fits right with what they are. One up week, one down, play much better at home than on the road. Monday night game before the bye. I think they're going to play really well in this game. So yeah, I feel really good about that game. I haven't looked at all the games yet, but there probably aren't a ton that I feel stronger about than that game.
We go to Kent.
Dallas.
We go to Sod.
I got to get back in this somehow, so I'll go the other way. I'll go with Arizona. Kyler Murray's 2-0 against the Cowboys in his career. So there's that. The one thing
Hasn't lost at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know.
That's coming back for sure.
Yeah, that's coming back for sure. But I like, I'll just get ahead of it and say these next 2 games for the Cowboys, I don't care how they play or unless they lose. But if they win, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, to be honest, it's the Cardinals, it's the Raiders. We're not changing any season opinions on how they look and what their destiny is just because they beat Arizona by 30. They could do that and it still doesn't matter to me. Unless they lose, then we're changing opinions where about, God, how low can this go? But yeah, I just want to say, just because, after Washington, it was a little bit, not from us, but in general, it was a little bit, wait, I mean, did the Eberflus thing finally hit? Like, they were figuring things, like, no, until that 3-game stretch that John mentioned that comes after the Vegas game, opinions aren't changing for me.
I'll take Dallas too. Kent. We'll go Kansas City at Buffalo.
Ooh,
Kansas City favored by 2. Kansas City -2.
Where is it? In Buffalo?
In Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah, give me Buffalo.
Buffalo +2 for Kent. Let's go to Sod.
Yeah, give me Buffalo. I think as long as they keep James Cook involved, I think they'll be fine. But I also think this game, if Buffalo does lose, this should be a reminder to the Bills that they need to do something before the trade deadline and get a receiver.
Yeah, I will take Kansas City -2. Buffalo's not throwing the ball very well right now, and I just think George Pickens would be a really great move for them. So, I know a lot of Cowboys fans aren't interested in another 29-32 pick. I'll just tell you right now, I think you have leverage with George Pickens, leverage that you might not have going into next season. I think if you decide to franchise him or you don't want to give him what he wants, I think things get bad and you lose all leverage you had. Now, I don't know if Buffalo would offer you a first-round pick for George Pickens. I don't know. I would say this. I think for them, a team that is right there and has been trying for years to get over the hump, I think not doing something like that with a pick that's valued or probably will be in the 29 through 32, I think is effing crazy. So, like, if I'm Buffalo, I'm calling and offering that. So I think that's something. I don't think that's like a realistic topic because I don't even know that the Cowboys would be interested in moving on from him. And I know a lot of Cowboys fans would tell you Dak's playing better than he's played in years. Why would you get rid of someone who's helped him to get to that point? This might be the highest leverage you have with George Pickens right now, because if you start talking about franchise tagging him, that's not going to go well. As my belief. John?
Yeah, the only thing I would add on your thoughts on that, though, is that I'll judge those moves by who's actually moved. Because I think there's too much with fans in sports where you get mad at your team because, like, I remember last year, the trade deadline, it was like, this team needs a pass rusher. Like, how did you not go get Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby or Myles Garrett? Well, because nobody did, because they weren't available. You know, I just hate living in that fairy tale world. Now, if you want to judge something off of like draft day and you're like, man, we really could have used AJ Brown. Why didn't we give up our one like the Titans did or something? That's different. I'll listen to that, you know, or another team, really, to be honest with you, a perfect example, bringing up Micah Parsons again, would be another team's fan base being mad. Like, why didn't we offer that? Why didn't we offer our D tackle in this from Micah? Like that, I'll listen to. But like when guys don't even get moved, like I just don't understand. Would be like, how did we not get Trey Henderson? Because nobody did. He's still with the Bengals. But yeah, give me the Bills and the points. And I did say I felt about as good about the Cowboys covering that spread as anyone. And I just was looking at these other. I do not feel as good about the Cowboys as I do by. I'm going to say these two games, so there's no way that you have them on here. The Packers taking care of business against Carolina, and the Rams taking care of business against the Saints. I feel stronger about that, but go on.
Those are big point spreads.
Yeah, those are big. For NFL games, that's pretty big. Both double digits. I think they're both near 2 touchdowns.
Rams playing against Tyler Shuck in his first start.
Tyler Shuck. I did struggle with the third game this weekend, so I decided to take a look at. We're assuming J.J. McCarthy's coming back.
Ooh,
Vikings and Lions. I wanted to keep it in the NFC. Minnesota, 8.5 point underdogs in Detroit. So Minnesota plus 8.5 at Detroit. I'll take Detroit minus 8.5.
I just want to hear John's logic here in taking Minnesota. Like, how can you even talk yourself into this?
Come on, John.
That's a lot of points, guys. All right. That's a lot of points. Minnesota plays indoors. So do the Lions. This 5. Give me the Vikings, though.
There it is.
8.5. That's a lot of points. Give me the 8.5.
This is how I'm going to catch up to John. Sod?
Oh, give me the Lions.
And Kent.
This is tough. Vikings.
All right. You didn't leave your boy hanging. Good job. Kent, did you and Jason Garrett take a train and go see the Bruce Springsteen movie?
I did see it. Not with Garrett, though. I guarantee you he was there last weekend.
He posted about it.
Oh, man, there you
go. He has been very active on Instagram.
Yeah, he has.
It's doing like TikTok dances and stuff.
I've seen some sweaty yoga pics. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. And then Brad Sham said, I didn't know you were that twisted when I responded to it. Gee whiz. Hey, how was the movie, Kent? We should listen to the Mad About Movies podcast and find out, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll just listen to Mad About Movies this week for my answer.
Uh-oh. That's...
Okay. Does it just focus on a certain
Nebraska
part of his life, or do they get to the part where then he takes over that Italian beef place in Chicago? Or do they not get? They don't get into that.
Good.
It's a different thing, man.
Oh, my bad. The voice sounds good though, from everything I've heard. I do want to see it, but his voice does sound very, very much like Bruce Springsteen. So that's impressive.
This won't spoil too much of the movie, but Kent, because I haven't seen it either, but Kent, the fact that he was singing, obviously you get points for that. And obviously we had the Bob Dylan, Timothy Chalamet thing last year, but Timothy Chalamet was playing guitar. And I had read that Jeremy Allen White did not learn to play guitar for this. Was that noticeable? And do you dock points for that?
It wasn't noticeable. I do dock a little bit of points, though. Thanks for pointing that out. So take that into consideration. I do think the Bob Dylan movie was better as a movie.
What's interesting about both,
but I like Springsteen's music. I listen to it more than Bob Dylan. But
sure.
Yeah. The interesting thing to me, because obviously they've been doing a pretty big run on these, whether it's, Queen, Elton John, Elvis Presley.
They're doing a Neil Diamond one.
Well, Neil, I guess,
Beatles next year.
Oh,
the
4
one thing
Beatles,
I will
right?
say, though, about the Bruce Springsteen one, like the Bob Dylan one, is there really a lot of drama in their lives? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the overcoming? Like, they're hitting it big, pretty young, like.
I contend that Bruce Springsteen was not a controversial figure at all.
Yeah, so. I want to see it, though. I mean, I like the Bob Dylan one. I probably watched it 3 or 4 times. I like it a lot. And there's not a major. He gets real famous, and he doesn't really like fans bothering him. Man, what a tough life.
No, it is. All right. Good job, everybody.
I want to navigate that world and see what it's not. I like it. Let's see what happens.
Get that world,
Let's see what happens.
You're John Machota. Navigate it now, dude. It's Father John.
Let me get to a point where I can't go to Eatsy's anymore and get a sandwich on my own. I got to send somebody. Let me get to that level. Let me see what that life's like.
Let me just tell you, dude, it's awesome.
I got to go up there.
I'm kidding.
I really want a sandwich, but now I'm going to have to sign all these autographs.
Tough, man.
Take a bunch of pictures. TMZ guys outside of my place.
Okay, all right. Let's get out of here, guys. Let's get out of here. Let's slide into our zone defense, and we'll talk. We'll talk Monday, I guess. Maybe we'll see. We might do Tuesday morning. We'll figure that out, right? Because the Monday night game. For Saad Youssef, for John Machota, for Kent Garrison, I'm Kevin Turner. We'll talk to you soon on the One Star Cowboys podcast.
Michael Parson.
For over a century, Johnny Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereaux Golf, Johnny Walker introduces the Johnny Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, blue label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereaux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnnywalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly.